If you lose your hardware wallet tomorrow, it breaks, or it gets stolen, can you recover your Bitcoin? If the answer isn't an instant, confident yes, then this video is for you. Because the single most important thing when it comes to self-custody isn't the hardware wallet unit itself. It's the 12 or 24 seed words that it generates. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to back up those words to make sure nothing short of an apocalypse separates you from your Bitcoin. Now let's get started. Quick foundation before we get to backups, because a lot of beginners get this wrong. Your hardware wallet is not your Bitcoin. It's just a device that signs transactions. The actual key to your Bitcoin is the seed phrase or a mnemonic. This follows a standard called BIP39, which is why the same 12 words work on Trezor, Cold Card, Passport, Seed Signer, you name it. Any BIP39 compatible wallet. This is the critical mental model. The hardware wallet is replaceable, but the seed phrase is not. If your device dies or gets stolen or simply lost, as long as you have those words written down somewhere safe, you buy a new wallet, type them in, and your Bitcoin is right there. This brings us to the obvious question. How do you protect those 12 or 24 words? Before we get into how to back it up, I need to burn one rule into your brain, because this is the single most common way beginners lose their Bitcoin. Your seed phrase should never, ever touch the internet. Not once, not for a second. Don't type it into your computer, not a Word doc, not a text file, not in notes, not in password manager that syncs to the cloud. Don't email it to yourself. Your email is one of the phishing links away from being compromised. Don't take photos of it. The second you take a photo of your seed phrase on your phone, that image is almost certainly synced to your iCloud or Google Photos. Your seed phrase is now sitting on a server you don't control. Don't screenshot your hardware wallet setup screen. Same problem. It hits your camera roll, it hits the cloud. If your phone or your computer gets compromised, the attackers now have access to every file, every photo, every note, every email on that machine. If your seed phrase is anywhere on that device, it's over. They drain your wallet and there is no customer support, no chargeback. The money is just simply gone. Bitcoin is a bearer asset money. Whoever owns the seed owns the coins. So the rule is simply your seed phrase is generated offline on a hardware wallet itself and it stays offline forever. If you take one thing away from this video, take that. Real quick, if you're finding this video useful so far, do me a favor and hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more people find practical guides like this one, and honestly, the more people who secure their Bitcoin properly, the better off the whole space is. All right, back to it. A lot of people ask me whether they should use 12 or 24 seed words. Logically, people assume 24 words is safer. More words, more entropy, more security, right? Technically, yes. Practically, no. A 12-word seed phrase already has 128 bits of entropy. We're talking about numbers larger than the atoms in the observable universe. So personally, I would go with 12. Less to write down, less to stamp into metal, fewer chances to make a mistake when you're backing up or restoring. If you're extra paranoid or you're securing a generational amount of Bitcoin, go for the 24 words. But don't let anyone tell you that 12 isn't enough. Okay, now let's talk about how to actually back this thing up. Every hardware wallet comes with a little card in the box, usually cardboard, sometimes a thicker stock, with numbered lines for the 12 or 24 words. When you first set up your device, you write down your seed phrase down on those cards. This is step one, but paper is not the final backup. Paper is exposed to fire, to water, time, and of course physical loss. So treat the paper cards as your initial backup, something you make the moment you set up your wallet before you put any real money on it. But within a week or two, make sure that you upgrade to something more durable, which brings us to option 2. This, in my opinion, is the best and safest way to back up your seed phrase. The idea is simple. Instead of ink on paper, you stamp or engrave your words into metal, steel or titanium. Something that survives fire, water, time, and almost anything short of throwing it into lava. There's over 100 different companies in the space right now that offer this solution. I've tested many of them. I've had some relationships with some of the bigger brands. And they all basically fall into two categories. Plate systems you stamp your letters into the metal plate, 1 word per row, or tiles or washer systems where you engrave your pre-stamped tiles or stamp individual washers. Now recently, there's been a new entrant in the space called Microseed. Quick disclosure, I'm friends with the founders and they've sent me a stamping kit to test out. This video is not sponsored and there's no editorial input, but I do have a 5% discount by using the code UNRUGGABLE if you end up wanting one. Also, I've had Daniel, one of the founders, on the show before, so if you click up here, you can watch the full interview with him, how this whole project got started. Having used it, it's become one of my personal favorites, and it's what I now recommend to family and friends and all of my Become Unruggable mentees. Here's why. The whole seed fits on a single 1-inch washer. 12 words, 24 words, it doesn't matter, one washer. Titanium or steel, think about what that enables. You can screw it in at the back of your appliance, drop it in a toolbox, throw it on a keychain in a drawer full of keychains, hide it in plain sight in places that nobody would ever associate with Bitcoin. Compare that to a big conspicuous metal plate in a safe. A thief who finds a safe knows to crack it. A thief is not going to unscrew the back of your dishwasher. Now here's something super cool that Microseed offers, which is a nylon washer option. Same form factor, but no metal, which means if you're traveling, crossing borders, going through airport scanners, metal detectors, there won't be any pinging. Your seed phrase just looks like a plastic washer in your bag. For anyone who's moving internationally or just values discretion, this is a big deal. Whatever brand you end up choosing, Microseed or any of the other reputable brands, the principle is simple. Get your seed phrase off paper and onto metal. Is the single biggest durability upgrade you can do today. And option 3, this is one for the people that are super paranoid, the tinfoil hat people, which don't want any seed phrase existing anywhere in plain text, even stamped on metal. Some hardware wallets let you back up your encrypted copy of your seed on a micro SD card during setup. The two I would point out to is the Foundation Passport and the CoinKite Cold Card Q. Both let you export an encrypted backup file protected by a single password you choose. Without that password, the file on the SD card is unusable. If someone finds the card, they can't drain your funds. But here's the trade-off. You now have to remember the password. So that password becomes a single point of failure. Forget it, lose it, and the SD card essentially bricks itself. So if you go down this route, your password itself needs a backup plan. SD cards aren't archival media. They fail. So if this is your method, you want multiple copies and you want to test them periodically. Plug them in every 6 to 12 months. Make sure it still reads the data. Here's the thing that nobody tells beginners. These options are mutually exclusive. You don't have to pick one. You can always layer it up. My personal setup and what I recommend to people is having, number 1, the metal backup as your primary, which is durable, simple, survives almost anything, and then the encrypted SD card as your secondary. Different failure mode, different threat model. And finally, the paper only as the initial setup artifact, which eventually you destroy once the better backup options are in place. And the most important rule of all, geographic distribution. If both of your backups are in the same house, they have the same failure model. One fire, one burglary, one flood, and both are gone. So store one in a safe place of your choice and another one in a different zone, perhaps one of your family members, friends, or go out to the woods and dig it in soil, if that's your thing. It doesn't matter where exactly. What matters is that no single disaster takes out both copies. And also, one thing to add, it's not the smartest thing to have your backup at home because in case there's a $5 wrench attack, you essentially simply don't have access to your backup seed phrase. A backup of a backup in a different place. That's the goal. All right, let me close it down with the checklist. If you're setting up your wallet this week, run through the following steps. Generate the seed on a hardware wallet itself. Never type a seed that comes from a website, an app, or a piece of paper someone handed to you. The device generates it offline. Write it down on paper first during the setup, Double check every word against the BIP39 word list. Misspellings are the #1 cause of unsuccessful recoveries. Verify the backup before you fund the wallet. Wipe the device, restore your paper backup, and confirm the same addresses come up. Do this before you send any Bitcoin to it. Upgrade to a metal within a week or two. Don't let paper be your long-term plan. Add a second backup in a different location. As we mentioned, geographic distribution. Keep it offline forever. Remember, no photos, no cloud, no email, no computer files. Tell one trusted person where to find it if something happens to you. Self-custody is great until a bus hits you and your family can't retrieve a single Satoshi. Revisit your setup once a year. Make sure the backups are still there, still reliable, still readable, still where you remember. That's it. That's the secret sauce to self-custody. That's not complicated, but it's unforgivable. The people who lose Bitcoin almost never lose it to hackers. They lose it to a bad backup or a forgotten password or a single point of failure they didn't plan for. Get the backup right and you've done the hardest path. If you found this video helpful, I'd really appreciate it if you hit subscribe. I put out these videos on a near weekly basis, all focused on keeping your Bitcoin unruggable. Of course, drop any questions you may have in the comment section down below, and I'll be happy to answer them. And as I mentioned, the microseed kit, if you're interested in acquiring it, do check out the link down below and use code unruggable for 5% off. And finally, any of you who want one-on-one Bitcoin self-custody help, you feel free to reach out to me for my Become Unruggable mentoring service. You'll find all the information in the description down below, and I'll be happy to give you a white glove service and make sure you truly become unruggable. Thanks for watching, stay safe, store those seeds in secure places, and I'll see you in the next one.